There is a dangerous kind of person the world can't handle. The one who knows they are unstoppable, not because they are perfect, not because life is easy, but because they understand one truth. If God is for me, nothing can stand against me. You were not born to tiptoe through life hoping to survive. You were created to dominate your circumstances. And the only limit you have is the one you accept. Today I'm here to tell you, stop living like a victim of the storm and start living like the storm is afraid of you. You were designed for victory. That's not just a nice phrase to make you feel good. It is the truth of your existence. When you were created, there was intention, there was purpose, and there was a specific assignment written into the blueprint of your life. You are not an accident of biology. You are not a random event in human history. You are a deliberate design, crafted with everything you need to fulfill your destiny. And here's the part many people miss. When you were formed, your weaknesses, your struggles, your mistakes, your failures, your personality, and even your unique quirks were all factored into the plan. Nothing about you is a surprise to the one who designed you. He already saw the times you would fall short and still decided, this one is a winner. Think about it. Manufacturers don't release a car until they've tested it to ensure it can handle the road. They don't put it on the market until it passes the stress test. In the same way, you were stress, tested in the mind of God before you were ever born. He knew you could handle the challenges you'd face because He built you with the resilience to rise above them. Your design includes the ability to adapt, to recover, and to win. But the tragedy is that many people spend their lives doubting their worth and shrinking back from challenges because they've forgotten their original design. Your past is not a measuring stick for your future. You can't keep looking at where you've been to decide where you can go. A seed doesn't look like a tree when it's buried, but that doesn't mean it won't grow into one. The potential is still there. And in the same way, your current struggles don't define your ultimate outcome. Maybe you've been through betrayal. Maybe you've been told you're not good enough. Maybe you failed in business, relationships, or personal goals. That's fine. Those things are events, not identity. You were designed for victory, and an event cannot cancel your design. Look at your own body for proof. When you get a cut, your skin begins to heal automatically. When you feel pain, your brain sends a signal to protect you. Built into you is a system of restoration. If your physical body is equipped to recover from harm, how much more is your spirit equipped to recover from life's battles? But here's the key. You have to choose to live from that design. A lion raised with sheep may act like a sheep, but the moment it hears its own roar, it remembers it's a predator, not prey. In the same way, the moment you remember who you really are, fear loses its hold. People will always try to label you by your history, by the mistakes you made, by the things you didn't achieve, by the version of you they used to know. But that's because they're only looking through the lens of what they can see. The truth is, your destiny is already completed in the mind of God. It's not a possibility. It's a reality waiting for you to walk into it. You are playing catch up to something already finished. Think about an architect designing a skyscraper. The building doesn't exist physically yet, but on the blueprints, every room, every floor, every detail is already there. The construction process doesn't create the plan. It simply brings it into reality. Your life works the same way. The plan is complete. You are just building according to it. And when challenges come, they don't change the blueprint. They only test your commitment to keep building. Many times, the only thing standing between you and your victory is the belief that you are already equipped to win. Some people never start the business, never apply for the promotion, never try again after failure. Not because they can't do it, but because they've convinced themselves they're not capable. They've allowed circumstances to convince them their design is flawed. But the fact that you're still breathing after everything you've been through is evidence that your design works. You've survived things that others didn't. You've come through storms that could have destroyed you. That's not luck, that's design. Let me make it practical. When a phone falls to the ground and doesn't break, people call it durable. They trust that phone because it's proven it can survive impact. The same is true for you. Every setback you've endured, every heartbreak you've overcome, every challenge you've navigated, these are proof points that you are built to last. They are reminders that you're not as fragile as your fears want you to believe. Your design for victory means you don't have to fear competition. You don't have to worry about who's ahead of you or who's doubting you. Your race is unique. If you've ever watched a marathon, you'll notice that not everyone runs at the same pace. Some sprint, some jog, some walk. But as long as they cross the finish line, they've completed the race. Victory isn't about speed, it's about endurance. And endurance is built into your design. The problem is, too many people allow the opinions of others to override their internal wiring. They forget that the same hands that formed the mountains, the oceans, the galaxies also formed them with intention. You are not here to barely make it through life. You are here to dominate the space you occupy. That means you think differently, you move differently, and you expect differently. You don't step into a room wondering if you belong. You walk in knowing you were sent. When you embrace the truth that you were designed for victory, your posture changes. You stop apologizing for dreaming big. You stop lowering your voice so others feel comfortable. You stop diluting your vision to fit someone else's expectations. You understand that you have been wired with the ability to win, even when the odds are against you. And once that belief becomes your reality, nothing, no person, no system, no circumstance can convince you to quit. Faith turns weakness into strength. Faith is not wishful thinking. It's not crossing your fingers and hoping life works out. Faith is a force, a decision to believe in what you cannot see more than what you do see. It is the ability to stand on the edge of uncertainty and still take the step forward, knowing that something greater than you will carry you through. Without faith, your vision will shrink to the size of your resources. You will only plan according to what's in your bank account, only dream according to your current skills, and only attempt what feels safe. But with faith, the size of your resources will grow to match the size of your vision. Faith stretches your capacity. It unlocks creativity. It introduces you to solutions that didn't exist until you believed they could. There's a difference between having faith in theory and living by faith in practice. Many people say they have faith until life puts them in a position where they have nothing else to lean on. It's easy to talk about faith when the bills are paid, when the body is healthy, when the relationships are thriving. But real faith shows up when the ground beneath you feels like it's shaking. Real faith whispers, keep going. When logic is screaming, turn back. Real faith isn't blind. It just chooses to see with a different set of eyes. Imagine a trapeze artist in a circus. The most breathtaking moment isn't when they're swinging. It's the moment they let go of one bar before grabbing the next. That moment in midair, when nothing is holding them, is faith in action. They've trained, they've prepared, but in that split second, they have no control except their trust that the next bar will be there. That's what faith is like in life. You release what's comfortable before you can grasp what's greater. Weakness says, I can't let go because I don't know what's next. Faith says, I will let go because I know something better is ahead. When you walk by faith, you stop letting your feelings be the final authority. Feelings change with the weather. Faith stands firm like a mountain. Feelings will tell you you're not good enough, not smart enough, not strong enough. Faith tells you that weakness is just a doorway for strength to enter. You might look at your life and see areas that feel broken, areas where you think you're unqualified. But faith turns those exact areas into the evidence of your victory. The very thing you thought disqualified you becomes the platform that elevates you. A cracked jar still holds water, and sometimes the cracks let the light shine through. Think about a seed. In its raw form, it looks powerless. It's small, fragile, buried under dirt and surrounded by darkness. But inside that seed is the blueprint for a tree that can outlive storms and provide shelter for generations. Faith is what activates that blueprint. Without faith, the seed rots under the weight of the soil. With faith, it pushes through the darkness until it reaches the light. Weakness is not the end. It's the environment where strength begins to grow. Too many people disqualify themselves before the race even starts because they focus on what they lack. I don't have the money. I don't have the connections. I don't have the education. But faith doesn't need all the pieces to start building. Faith builds while the pieces show up along the way. It's like driving at night. You don't need the headlights to reveal the whole journey, just enough to take the next step. Weakness says, I can't see the end, so I won't move. Faith says, if I can see the next step, I'll take it. And here's the thing, faith doesn't always remove challenges. In fact, sometimes faith invites them, because without resistance, you can't build strength. A bodybuilder doesn't grow by lifting feathers. They grow by lifting weight that challenges them. In the same way, faith allows you to carry weight that your natural strength could never handle. You might be in a season where it feels like the weight is crushing you, but faith turns that weight into your training ground. The pressure you feel is not meant to break you. It's meant to build you. When life hits hard, the natural instinct is to retreat, to protect yourself from further pain. But faith moves you forward even while you're hurting. Weakness would tell you to wait until you feel stronger before you try again. Faith says, try now, and your strength will meet you along the way. The truth is, you may never feel fully ready for the next level. But readiness is not a feeling, it's a decision. Faith decides first and lets strength catch up later. I've seen people with less talent outshine the talented because they moved in faith. I've seen people without resources build what others with millions never attempted. I've seen the shy become bold, the broken become whole, and the overlooked become leaders. All because they dared to believe when everything around them said it was impossible. Faith doesn't ask for your RA sum A, it asks for your agreement. It asks, will you believe despite what you see? Will you trust despite what you feel? Will you move despite the fact that everything in you says to stop? You might feel you're at the edge of your capacity right now. Maybe you've been holding on to something small because you're afraid of losing even that. But faith will always require you to release the little so you can receive the greater. Weakness wants to cling to what is safe. Faith wants to reach for what is promised. And every time you choose faith, strength flows into the places that once felt powerless. Your words shape your world. Every sentence you speak is a seed, and the environment you live in is the soil. The question is, what are you planting? If you keep planting seeds of doubt, fear, and defeat, you cannot expect a harvest of victory. Some people speak like they're narrating a tragedy and then wonder why their life keeps producing pain. Others speak like their future is already decided in their favor, and somehow life begins to respond. Words are not just sounds. They are creative power. The very direction of your life is being influenced by what you consistently say. If you want to know where you'll be in 5 years, listen to what you're saying today. Think about it. When you tell yourself, "I can't do this," your mind begins searching for proof to support that statement. You start to notice every weakness, every reason to give up, every obstacle in your way. But if you say, "I am capable of handling this," your mind switches on its problem-solving mode, looking for ways to make it happen. It's not magic. It's the way your brain has been designed to respond to your voice. You are programming your future every time you open your mouth. Imagine two farmers. One plants corn, the other plants weeds. They both water their fields, they both get sunlight, they both wait. At harvest time, one celebrates, the other complains. But the harvest isn't a mystery. It's simply the result of what they planted months earlier. Your words work the same way. You can't speak negativity all year and then be shocked when your life produces chaos. You can't curse your own efforts every day and then expect success to come knocking. If you keep saying, "I'm tired, I'm broke, I'm unlucky," your life will adjust itself to match those declarations. Your words are like steering a ship. No matter how big the ocean, the rudder decides the direction. A small turn of that rudder can change the entire destination over time. In the same way, a shift in your words today can change the entire course of your life. If you've been speaking defeat, you can turn the rudder toward victory by changing your vocabulary. Start declaring what you want to see, not just what you currently see. Speak health while you're sick. Speak abundance while you're broke. Speak peace while you're in chaos. Your words are not limited to describing your situation. They have the power to create a new one. This is why you must be careful about casual speech. People think jokingly saying, "I'm dying," or "I'll never make it," is harmless, but every word you speak registers in your mind and spirit. If you wouldn't plant poison in your garden for fun, why plant it in your future with your words? Even in daily life, you see the principle. Compliment someone and watch how their posture changes. Their energy lifts, their smile returns. Criticize them harshly, and you'll watch the light dim from their eyes. Words carry weight. They can build up or tear down, heal or wound, motivate or paralyze. Some of you are living under the weight of words spoken to you years ago. Maybe a teacher told you you'd never be successful, or a parent constantly told you that you were a disappointment. Those words shaped how you saw yourself. But here's the truth. You can break that cycle by speaking new words over your life. You can't stop negative words from being said to you, but you can refuse to let them be the final voice. You can replace them with declarations that align with your potential, not with someone else's opinion. Picture an athlete before a big game. Even the most talented players talk to themselves. "I'm ready. I've trained for this. I can win." That self-talk isn't arrogance, it's preparation. It sets the tone for their body to follow. If professional athletes understand the importance of speaking victory before the battle, why should you approach your challenges differently? Your battles might not be on a sports field, but they're just as real. Whether it's a job interview, a presentation, a financial goal, or a personal challenge, the words you speak before and during the moment will shape the outcome. There's also power in speaking over your day before it starts. Instead of waking up and immediately complaining about the weather, your workload, or your fatigue, try declaring, "This is a good day. I am focused. I am favored. Opportunities are coming my way." You'll notice that your mood begins to match your declarations. You'll approach problems with more creativity, and even when things go wrong, you'll recover faster because your mind has been trained to expect good. Be intentional with your inner circle too. Surround yourself with people who speak life, not death. Conversations are contagious. If you spend your time with complainers, your words will naturally become negative. But if you're around people who constantly speak about vision, growth, and solutions, you'll start to mirror that language. Your future is influenced not only by your words, but also by the words you allow into your ears. Protect your verbal environment like you would protect your physical one. The truth is, your words are one of the few things in life you can control every single day. You may not be able to control the economy, other people's opinions, or unexpected setbacks, but you can control what comes out of your mouth. And when you take that seriously, you'll realize you have more power over your future than you thought. If you want a bigger life, start with a bigger vocabulary, one that matches the greatness you're aiming for. If you want peace, speak peace. If you want victory, speak victory. If you want success, speak success. Fear will always knock at your door. It doesn't matter how talented, experienced, or confident you are. Fear shows up for everyone. The difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck is not the absence of fear, but the refusal to give it a seat at the table. Fear is persuasive. It comes dressed as reason, disguised as logic, whispering things that sound like wisdom but are really chains. It says, be realistic, play it safe, wait until the perfect time. And if you're not careful, you'll find yourself negotiating with it, making deals that seem harmless in the moment, but rob you of opportunities you were meant to seize. You tell yourself you'll start the business when the economy gets better, or you'll speak up once you feel more confident, or you'll go after the dream when you have more support. Before you know it, years pass, and the fear that seems so small has built a permanent home in your mind. Fear thrives in hesitation. It knows that the longer you wait, the weaker your courage becomes. It's like rust on metal. Leave it exposed long enough, and it will eat through the strongest steel. That's why action is the antidote. The moment fear knocks, you respond by moving forward. Even if your voice shakes, even if your knees feel weak, even if you're not sure of the outcome, you take the step. Movement disrupts fear's grip. Fear can't survive in a mind that is too busy doing. Think about learning to swim. The first time you stand at the edge of the pool, fear tells you about every possible danger. What if you sink? What if you can't breathe? What if you make a fool of yourself? You can stand there all day listening to it, or you can jump in and let your body learn that you can float. Once you're in the water, the fear begins to lose its voice because your experience starts to speak louder. In the same way, most of the fears you carry in life are louder in imagination than they are in reality. The moment you face them, you realize they don't have the power you thought they did. Fear also loves to partner with overthinking. It knows that if it can keep you analyzing every possible scenario, you'll never take action. You'll play out every what if in your head until the risk feels 10 times bigger than it really is. Overthinking doesn't prepare you. It paralyzes you. Preparation is good, but perfection is a trap. You don't need the entire plan to take the first step. You just need enough light to see where to place your foot next. Fear tells you to wait until you see the whole staircase. Faith tells you to take the next step and trust that the rest will appear. Look at any breakthrough story you admire: an athlete breaking records, an entrepreneur building an empire, an artist creating something timeless. And behind it, you'll find moments where they acted in spite of fear. They didn't wait to stop feeling afraid. They moved anyway. That's the secret most people don't talk about. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's making the decision that something else matters more. Your dream, your calling, your purpose has to matter more than the comfort of staying safe. Sometimes fear is inherited. It's passed down in the way your family talks about money, opportunity, or risk. Maybe you grew up hearing things like, "People like us don't get chances like that," or "It's better not to try than to fail." Those words plant roots that can grow into mental walls. But you don't have to accept those walls as permanent. You can break cycles of fear by refusing to speak its language. You can say, "I hear the doubt, but I choose a different story. I see the risk, but I choose the reward." Daily life is full of moments where fear tries to control you without you even noticing. It can be as small as holding back your opinion in a meeting because you're afraid of looking foolish, or as big as staying in a job you hate because you're scared of the uncertainty that comes with change. Every time you give in, fear grows stronger. Every time you refuse to negotiate, you weaken its hold. Even a small act of courage, a conversation you've been avoiding, a decision you've been delaying, can be a turning point. Think of fear like a loud, uninvited guest at your front door. It knocks, it shouts, it tells you all the reasons you should let it in. But the moment you open the door and step past it, its voice fades. Fear only has power when you stop to entertain it. The truth is, courage is built through repetition. The first time you face a fear, it feels overwhelming. The second time, it's uncomfortable. The third time, it's familiar. And eventually, what once terrified you becomes your new normal. Fear will try to convince you that staying safe is the same as staying alive. But there is a difference between surviving and living. Surviving is breathing without growing. Living is stepping into uncertainty, knowing you might fail, but also knowing you might fly. Every great story in history was written by someone who decided that fear would not be their final advisor. They might have heard its voice, but they made their decisions based on vision, not intimidation. You can't negotiate with fear because it will never settle for less than your entire life. Give it an inch and it will take a mile. Agree to one delay and it will turn into years. It will always come back asking for more hesitation, more excuses, more tomorrows that never arrive. The only way to defeat it is to act in direct opposition to it. If fear says wait, you move. If fear says be quiet, you speak. If fear says turn back, you push forward. Every time you do, you remind yourself that fear is not a master. It's a signal that you're standing on the border of something worth having. Storms don't come to destroy you. They come to show you what's already inside you. It's easy to believe you're strong when the sky is clear and the road is smooth. But real strength is revealed when the winds pick up and the rain pours down. The storm is the test that proves the quality of your foundation. When life shakes you, what falls off was never meant to stay, and what remains is the truth of who you are. Too often we think of storms as punishments, when in reality they are promotions in disguise, opportunities to discover a deeper level of resilience we didn't know we had. Think about a ship. It's not tested in calm waters. It's proven in the middle of the sea when waves crash and visibility drops. The captain doesn't become skilled by cruising on a quiet lake. He becomes skilled by steering through violent storms and learning to trust the design of the vessel. You are that vessel. Everything you've been through before has been preparing you for the storm you're in now. And sometimes the storm doesn't just test your strength, it teaches you how to use it. A storm strips away illusions. It reveals who's really with you and who was only there for the sunshine. When the rain starts falling and the winds howl, fair weather friends scatter. And while that can hurt, it's also clarity. Storms clear your vision. They remove the unnecessary, the unstable and the uncommitted, leaving only what can truly go the distance with you. Sometimes the storm isn't here to take from you. It's here to take away the things that would have weighed you down later. Pressure has a way of shaping us. Diamonds are not formed in comfort. They are created under intense heat and crushing force. Gold doesn't become pure without going through fire. The butterfly doesn't gain wings without wrestling out of the cocoon. You cannot develop endurance without resistance. The storm is not an obstacle to your destiny. It is part of the process that qualifies you for it. The same wind that tries to push you back can be the wind that lifts you higher if you position yourself correctly. Think about the eagle. While other birds hide from storms, the eagle uses the storm's wind to rise above the clouds. It doesn't waste energy fighting the wind. It spreads its wings and lets the pressure carry it higher than it could fly on its own. That's a picture of what you can do in the storms of life. You can hide, hoping the weather will pass, or you can spread your wings of faith, courage, and determination, and use the very opposition against you as the force that elevates you. The truth is, storms don't last forever, but their lessons can shape you for a lifetime. What you learn in the storm will equip you for the next season of your life. You may come out with scars, but those scars will speak of battles fought and won. They will remind you that you survived what you thought would break you. And every time you face a new challenge, you'll have proof from your own history that you can overcome again. Daily life gives us countless examples of this. You've seen people lose everything in a financial crisis, only to rebuild stronger because the storm taught them discipline and creativity. You've met individuals who went through heartbreak and came out wiser, able to love more deeply because the storm taught them to value real connection. You've watched someone battle illness and emerge with a fire for life that inspires everyone around them. These transformations don't happen in spite of the storm. They happen because of it. The storm also forces you to focus. When you're in survival mode, you quickly realize what truly matters. Trivial distractions fade away, and you pour your energy into the essentials. That focus is a gift. It teaches you how to prioritize, how to conserve strength, and how to direct your energy toward what produces real results. In a strange way, storms simplify life. They strip it down to the core so you can rebuild with intention. There's also something powerful about the way storms humble us. They remind us that we're not in control of everything, and that's not a weakness. It's freedom. When you stop trying to control the weather, you can focus on controlling your response. You can choose to see the storm as a curse, or you can choose to see it as training. You can let it bury you, or you can let it build you. And perhaps the most important thing to remember is that storms reveal to you what was invisible in the calm. Some strengths only emerge under pressure. Some creativity only comes when you're cornered. Some relationships only show their true depth when tested. The storm is not trying to make you fail. It's trying to show you the parts of yourself you've never met before. And once you've met that version of yourself, you will never go back to the way you were before. When you wake up in the morning, before your feet even hit the floor, you need to carry yourself like someone who already has the breakthrough in their hands. Victory is not something you beg for. It's something you step into. You don't wait for the circumstances to change before you act like a winner. You walk as if the deal is already signed. The healing is already in your body. The door is already open, and the storm has already cleared. Because when you walk like the victory is already yours, you send a signal, not just to the people around you, but to your own mind, that defeat is not even an option on the table. Think about the way a champion walks into the arena. They haven't even thrown a punch yet, but you can tell by their posture, their eyes, their stride, that they expect to win. They are not second guessing. They are not wondering if they belong there. They are moving with the quiet confidence that comes from knowing the battle was won long before the crowd showed up. That's how you need to approach your day. Before the meeting, before the challenge, before the test, you have to wear victory like it's part of your skin. And here's the truth. Most people wait to feel confident until after they've succeeded, but real winners reverse it. They decide to feel confident first. They carry themselves as though the outcome is already settled in their favor. That's not arrogance, that's alignment. That's telling life, I am ready for what belongs to me. If you wait for every condition to be perfect before you move, you will spend your whole life standing still. But if you act like it's already yours, you begin to attract and unlock the very opportunities that make it real. I remember talking to a young man who wanted to start his own business. He told me, I'll act like a CEO when I finally have my company running. I looked at him and said, no, act like a CEO now. Speak like a CEO now. Dress like a CEO now. Think like a CEO now. Because when the opportunity comes, you won't rise to the occasion. You'll simply reveal the level you've already been living at. And sure enough, within a year, doors opened for him that had been closed for years. Why? Because his mindset shifted before his circumstances did. When you walk like victory is already yours, you also begin to speak differently. Your words stop sounding like complaints and start sounding like declarations. You stop saying, I hope this works out, and start saying, this will work in my favor. You stop saying, I'm trying to make it, and start saying, I'm on my way to greater. Words have weight, and when your language matches your expectation, the atmosphere around you starts to shift. People can feel it when you believe in yourself. And those who can help you are drawn to that kind of energy. Look at athletes before a race. Some of them are pacing, some are stretching, some are breathing deeply. But they all share one thing in common. They are mentally crossing the finish line before the gun even fires. They are seeing themselves breaking that tape. They are feeling the weight of the medal. They are hearing the roar of the crowd. And because they have already won in their mind, their body simply follows the instructions. The same is true in your life. You cannot live in defeat mentally and expect to walk in victory physically. This is why it's so important to carry yourself with dignity and strength even when no one is watching. Some of the most defining moments happen when the audience is absent. How you walk into a room, how you shake a hand, how you introduce yourself, how you handle a setback, all of these things tell the world whether or not you believe you've already won. You can be in a season where nothing looks like victory, yet still move like you are crowned. That's faith in motion. And let me tell you something. People treat you according to how you present yourself. If you walk in slouched over, with your head down, mumbling your words, people will assume you are unsure and they will handle you accordingly. But if you walk in with your shoulders back, your head high, your handshake firm, and your voice steady, you communicate without words that you are someone who carries value. You don't have to announce it, you radiate it. Daily life is full of examples of this principle. A job interviewer can have two equally qualified candidates, but the one who walks in with the energy of, "I am the right choice," often leaves with the offer. A performer can have two singers with the same voice, but the one who steps on stage as though the crowd already loves them usually gets the louder applause. The difference isn't just in skill, it's in presence. Presence says, "I belong here." And when you believe you belong, you open doors that insecurity would have kept shut. Even in personal battles, this mindset changes everything. You might be going through financial strain, but walk through the grocery store like someone whose abundance is on the way. You might be facing a medical challenge, but greet people with the joy of someone who has already overcome. That's not denial, that's direction. You are directing your thoughts, your posture, and your energy toward the outcome you want, not the obstacle you're in. And here's the part that will blow your mind. When you live like victory is already yours, you begin to make decisions from a place of power instead of desperation. Desperation makes you settle for less. Power makes you wait for the right thing. Desperation makes you chase people. Power attracts them. When you believe you've already won, you stop scrambling for crumbs because you know the feast is coming. You stop begging for doors to open because you know the right one is already assigned to your name. Victory is a mindset before it is a moment. The mind leads and the life follows. If you can convince yourself you've already crossed the finish line, you'll find yourself running differently, speaking differently, showing up differently. And that difference will make all the difference. Life will always try to tell you what you cannot do, where you cannot go, and who you cannot become. But you are not defined by limitations. You are defined by the power that fuels you. And when that power comes from the one who makes the impossible possible, nothing in this world can cage you. You may be underestimated, but you are never underpowered. You may be overlooked, but you are never overruled. You are a walking testimony that storms don't break you, they reveal you. Every challenge you face is simply a platform to prove that you are unshakable. Every obstacle is not a wall to stop you, but a ladder to lift you. You don't climb in comfort, you climb in resistance. You don't grow in ease, you grow in the tension of the fight. People will wonder how you're still standing after all the pain, all the betrayal, all the nights you cried yourself to sleep. But what they don't know is that you have a source that never runs dry. You didn't just survive, you adapted, you learned. You became dangerous to anything that tried to destroy you. Stop asking the world for permission to succeed. Stop waiting for someone to approve your destiny. Your purpose was written before you ever took your first breath. And no man's opinion can erase it. Walk into every room like you belong there. Speak with the authority of someone who knows they are backed by heaven's endorsement. When they try to count you out, smile, because they are about to watch you do what they said could not be done. Fear will come, but it will have no home in you. Doubt will whisper, but you will drown it out with action. You will take the very things meant to bury you and build an empire on top of them. You will refuse to be defined by the failures behind you because the victories ahead are too great. The people who left you were never meant to carry the weight of where you're going. Stop grieving what walked away and start preparing for what's about to arrive. You are proof that the past cannot chain the future. You are evidence that broken things can still shine. You are the living reality of the phrase, "What was meant for harm will turn for good." Every scar you have is a medal of survival. Every tear you've shed is an investment in the wisdom you now carry. You're not weak because you felt pain. You're powerful because you stood back up. When you wake up in the morning, you should declare it before you see it. Nothing can stop me. Not the economy, not the gossip, not the setbacks, not even the voice in my head that tells me I'm not enough. You've been equipped for every battle you'll ever face. And the truth is, the reason some doors are locked is because you were meant to build your own. The reason some opportunities passed you by is because there's a bigger one ahead with your name on it. This is your season to run, not walk, to take ground, not just hold it, to rise so high that even your enemies are forced to clap. The same people who doubted you will one day tell your story as an example of what resilience looks like. They will say, "I knew them when," and you will smile knowing that the only reason they remember you is because you refuse to be forgotten. So step forward, stand taller, speak louder, lie bolder. Believe so fiercely that even fear bows its head when you enter the room. You are not ordinary, you are not random. You are a deliberate design for greatness, and the only thing that can stop you is the belief that something can. And I dare you today to live like nothing can stop you, because with God, nothing can.